Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Happy Wednesday. Hello. I got news. You guys aren't going to like it, but I got news. I just want to make sure I'm letting people in still. Bear with me. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me all right. Somebody send me a message or something. Just let me know you guys are there. I got news for you.
We can hear you.
All right, awesome. I got updates and you're not going to like them. So let me just peek really quick and see who I have in here, because there's somebody particular that's not going to be a happy camper. Holy. I'm sorry that, and I'm going to tell you something bad. All right, shoot the messenger.
You're cutting out and freezing.
Sales that are in the docket. Oh, thank you for letting me know I'm cutting out. Can you hear me now? Am I good?
Yes.
Look, everybody's guessing. I love it. The county is extending the eviction moratorium until January 31st of next year and possibly until June 30. No, as far as I know. Here's the two things that I see that are predominantly going to happen in the very near future. Okay, so everybody be ready. Assembly Bill 12 will most likely pass. That will set maximum deposits for new tenants moving in comparable to 1 month's rent and not a penny more. I'm glad you guys are all muted because I can't hear you all cursing at me right now. Yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to make it so that we can only collect a maximum of 1 month's deposit. I'm not happy about that. Okay.
Is that just for rent control property or all property?
Through the state.
So if you're saying if you have a property that's rents for $50,000 a month, you can only collect 1 month security deposit?
That is what I'm saying.
Okay. I'll mute myself quick before I swear.
I tried to be calm, so I didn't come in here swearing. If you move somebody in prior to this law passing, you will be grandfathered in. Okay. So let me wait. David, I know you're just logging on. I want to wait until I know you can hear me, David. Once you hear me, just let us know that I can keep moving forward because I know you need to know this.
I hear you.
Okay, perfect. So AB 12, Assembly Bill 12 is up for vote. It will most likely pass. It will set maximum deposits for new tenants moving in to 1 month's rent across the state. When will this happen? My guess, January 1st. My screen says your bandwidth is low because I'm sitting in one of the attorney's private offices because there is lots of depositions going on today and lots of moving pieces at the law firm. So I didn't get my conference room I usually have, and all 3 of them are being used. So I just popped into an office and it's covered by cinder blocks. So sorry if my service isn't so great. I apologize. I will fix that next time. I just want to make sure everybody understands. I could go in the bathroom, folks. But AB 12 will set max deposits for new incoming tenants comparable to 1 month's rent. And that is across the board. Okay. And here comes number 2. San Diego City is going to be implementing their own rent control that is worse than the city of Los Angeles. And don't be surprised if that rent control in the city of San Diego spreads like cancer, just like it did in the county of Los Angeles and infecting the county of San Diego. It is a metropolis. It is the next one to be hit hard by the restrictions against landlords as far as rent control and things of that nature. So San Diego city is implementing rent control that is comparable and or worse than the city of Los Angeles. I knew that was coming. I just thought it would be a year or two from now. I didn't think it would be so close. All right, can you guys all hear me? Should I move? Tell me if I should move and I'll go traipsing through the office. Trying to find a spot. Can we collect a pet deposit? No. Additional deposit? No. That's that. That's it. Maximum deposit you can collect is 1 month's rent. I can hear you, but it goes in and out slightly. Pet fees. Yes, you can charge fees. Fees are non-refundable. A deposit is refundable. Ding. Did that click? In some cities, they do not allow pet rent, but a pet fee allowed as of right now. That could change. Just saying. Buckle up, folks. It's going to get pretty exciting. If I had to guess, and I'm guessing here, and so far I've been kind of close on my guessing. I've been pretty accurate. If I had to guess, after San Diego gets inducted with rent control BS, the next ones to get rent control BS, in my opinion, will be Orange County. And why is Patty saying this? I'm hitting the metropolis, you guys. These are metropolises. Heavy populations of tenants in both San Diego and in Los Angeles. Heavy condensed populations of them. And that's the why. I think it'll be, and this is just what I think, we have LA already. It'll be San Diego next. And I'm only talking about Southern California. Okay. I don't mess with Northern California. I know this much about their rules and regulations. You know why? Because I know their state laws, because it's the same for us. But I don't know all their little rules that they have going on in Stockton and what their rent controls are in Northern California. I don't stay familiar with those. My head is full with Southern California. Okay. So my guess is LA's already inundated. San Diego will be next. And then coming in on a strong third place would most likely be Orange County. Also, those would be my guess. How about a pet fee? We can do pet fee, cleaning fee, extra body fee. Yes, Val, you're getting the fee word down. We'll see how it plays out. I know that I always tell you guys that. There may be a loophole or two that we can pull around it. This is not law yet. It will most likely pass, in my opinion. And yeah, and then the San Diego City rent control. Here's what I could say about San Diego currently. Their court cases to do evictions are taking 6 months, 8 months on an uncontested case. It's ridiculous. They are taking quite some time to get our court cases done. I don't know if they're inundated or they're just not implementing locking people out. I couldn't tell you what the mindset is there, but I could tell you it's slower than molasses in the freezing temperatures. No joke. Hi, Patty. Question. I'm scheduled to do repairs in my rental. It's a single family home. My tenants are not responding to me to confirm. How can I move forward if my tenants are not responding? Well, Bonnie, You don't need them to confirm. What you need to do is serve a 24-hour notice that you're entering on such and such a day in such and such time window. See how I didn't say I'm coming in on Thursday at 10 a.m.? I want to say I'm coming in on Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon or 10 to 2, or I want to give a window of time, because if you are 1 minute late, they don't have to let you in. So we want to give them a window of time. Okay. So you want to serve a 24-hour notice for necessary or agreed upon repairs that you're coming in on blank date at blank time to do these necessary or agreed upon repairs, or whatever the reason is that you're trying to enter. But it would be a 24-hour notice in order to let them know. And that's you doing your job, you calling and trying to harassment. Use your documents to talk for you. So for you, you want to post that 24-hour notice to enter and utilize that. Yep, you want to post it right to the front door. That's you doing your job. Okay, and then if they say that you can't come in, and I didn't even ask what city this was in. If they say you can't come in, then we can have a different conversation about what you need to do to go forward. Currently, you're in LA County and their moratorium does not end until the end of this month on New Year's Eve. For the county, the city ends on January 31st, 30 days later, give or take. So you could serve those notices now. You can't do an eviction for failure to allow entry because of COVID until after January 1. But you can serve the notices and attempt to gain entry and show that in your court case as well, because you're going to want to do it a couple of times most likely before you start the eviction for failure to allow entry. That's something you're going to want to talk to with your legal counsel. Okay. I asked Gary Hoffman, hang on, hold on, I'm only getting, and you're in Venice. Yes, so LA County can't do evictions for unauthorized occupants or unauthorized pets or failure to allow entry until after the moratorium is over at the end of this month. Okay, it has not been extended and it most likely will not be extended. What we need to worry about, folks, is those municipalities coming up with their own bureaucracy and bull crap. So, example, we already see that Pasadena has Measure H, and that's a nightmare. That's what Pasadena's done. Baldwin Park has issued their own rent control and what the rents are allowed to be raised annually. So we're going to have to Google each city within the county to find out if they have their own rent control ordinance now, or if we're back to business as normal. So that's what we're going to have to do each time. They're starting to pop up. I just want to be the person that goes and pounds them back down, but I can't. Okay. But keep that in mind, is these individual cities are going to have their own rules. I asked Gary Hoffman to request dismissal with prejudice, just like you said we should. He said it was not possible, so I agreed to a stipulated judgment. Okay, agreeing to a stipulated judgment works. If they don't follow through, okay, if they don't follow through with whatever they agreed to on that stipulated judgment, then you can do a declaration of non-compliance and move forward with a lockout if they don't comply. Got it? So in a stipulated judgment, I'm going to give you an example. You're to pay $5,000 on the first and no lockout to happen for 60 days. They didn't pay me $5,000 on the first. So now I'm going to file a declaration of non-compliance with the court, asking them to issue the writ of possession and allow me to do the lockout because the tenant didn't pay me the $5,000. So that's how that works. Okay. I hope I didn't talk too fast. So a stipulated judgment, if they don't do exactly what they said that they would do, you want to talk to your legal counsel about doing a declaration of non-compliance. Okay. Didn't LA County vote yesterday to extend moratorium till end of January? I'm unaware of that passing. I'll have to look. And if they did, property under Larso, the last day my tenant will be on 12/31/22. The lockout will be on 12/1/23. What things should I expect in the unit? The property has no pet and a no smoking policy, but the tenant ran a dog babysitting business and smoked in and outside the unit. First and foremost, I'm having a hard time understanding that a lockout would be on a holiday. I hope you heard me. The sheriff is not going to schedule a lockout on the holiday. In fact, I know LA Sheriff is currently scheduling lockouts for January 10th, not on 1/1. They're not open. It's a holiday. So if your tenant moves out, that's fine. If they don't move out, you can't go shove them out. Just making sure you understand the rules. And however he leaves the unit, you need to charge him accordingly. I have a pending 3-day notice for eviction for non-payment. How does the extension by the county supervisors? It doesn't. If your tenant didn't self-certify that they've been affected by COVID, you should be able to continue with the eviction process now. Is the law firm that I work for here at Fast Evict, we've been successful with evictions in LA County for the last year. Okay. If they're not paying you rent, okay, they extended it to match the city's moratorium. It's fine. So they can self-certify for another 30 days. That's how I want you to look at it. And thank you, Geraldo, for letting me know, because I didn't see that come through yesterday. But I've been working on a whole nother project. I've been watching what's going on, changes in the law for January 1st, because I don't like to be blindsided. So I've been focusing there. I didn't think they'd extend the moratorium, but lo and behold, go figure that they would. Hold on. Anna wrote me a whole what's going on. At yesterday's Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors meeting, the board extended the countywide eviction moratorium in incorporated cities and unincorporated areas, and the rent increase fees, which applies only to the county's unincorporated areas, for one additional month through January 31st. During the meeting, which was also approved, calling for county staff to report back in the 30 days on the feasibility of extending the county's moratorium for an additional 6 months. 5 months beyond the approved extension. And for the establishment of a program to provide financial relief for the mom and pop rental housing providers, both for mortgage and non-mortgage related costs. There's no money. They're not gonna, they can't extend this if they don't give us money, and there is no money to give. So we'll see what they come up with. The county will very likely extend to June 30th. The only way they're going to be able to do that is if they give relief to landlords, because right now it is unconstitutional. We can't evict them. We can't do this. We can't do that, but there's no help for us. It looks like BOS wants to extend for another 6 months. Well, they're going to be challenged. I gotcha. The LA County extended the moratorium and left open where the report back in 30 days to see they can extend even longer. They're going to try to extend even longer. San Diego's coming up with their own version of rent control. I mean, it's just going. How hard can they twist us before we start bleeding? AGLA's lawsuits are very active. They are still becoming very, very active with their lawsuits. I know that I just talked to Dan about an update in the city. I did get an update from Dan on that, but I would adamantly with you guys. I think they have an event coming up called the Installation Cocktail Hour or something like that. It's in January. They're having an installation event. I love going to that. You know why? They invite the legislators that come down from Sacramento. So you actually get to be at an event and talk with the lobbyists. It's awesome because you get to learn what's looming over us, what they're trying to do. It's very interesting. I always go to that event because I learn a lot from the lobbyists. I remember one year I went, they told me, get ready for January. It's going to be quite exciting. And then we got AB 1482. So I tend to really listen to these lobbyists. They seem to point you in the right direction. Installation cocktail event. I believe it's in January. I want to say on the 17th, but I could be wrong with the date. Yes, definitely something interesting to go to. It's great to get to talk to the lobbyists and hear what they're up against, what they're fighting for. It's nice to know that our voices are being heard. Whether or not they're doing anything about it, different set of facts, but at least they're hearing that we're not having this. This isn't cool. You know, we can't keep bleeding all this money, folks. It's not okay. So does anybody have any questions for me? I had a feeling that they might try to extend, but yeah. No rent increases for unincorporated ELA. I'm thinking you mean East Los Angeles. East LA, got it. I'm in the understanding that there's no rent increases for unincorporated LA County until January 31st of 2024. Got it? No rent increases in unincorporated LA County until January 31st of 2024. Not next month, a year from now. No. 2024 is how I read that. I'll go back and read them again, you guys, because a lot of things have happened. Is it 2023? Because from what I saw, there were no rent increases for 2020. Oh, is that the city of LA? I might have it confused. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you could do rent increases, according to Laura, starting February 1st in the county. In the city, it's on, that's what it is. You're right. It's city of Los Angeles has a rent freeze. Yeah, until 2024. Can I raise the rent in Sherman Oaks and for how much? Wait till February. Don't serve the notice now. And it'll most likely be 10%. But we're going to have to take a look to see if Sherman Oaks implements their own changes, their own, it's not a moratorium anymore. It's their own version of rent control. I hope that makes sense. We have to watch those individual cities, and come January 1 is when we're going to know it's coming about. Okay. But, and it's not like you're too late, you know. Notice needs to be served when for East LA rent increase. I have to check, Laura. I'm honestly gonna have to go look. Because if you're in, no problem. I want to say don't even serve this until February 1st. That way they can't tie it into the pandemic, but we'll wait and see how this unfolds. Like I said, they're going to start offering additional protections to tenants moving forward within the county. And we're already seeing it in several cities that didn't have restrictions before. They do now. Okay. Let me see if anybody has anything else. I don't want to keep you guys too much. I know it's the holiday. We're coming right up on it, and I will be back next Wednesday. I'm not doing a break because of the holidays. Does anybody have anything else? Starting in 2023, all new construction in California will allow for a pet to be on a rental property. That's going to pass too. I think that's ridiculous. They're telling us as soon as we build it, what we can and can't have there later. Yeah. You mentioned the last minute tactics tenants are using to delay eviction. Can you explain that again? Absolutely. So for the longest time, we filed an eviction. The tenant got served a copy of that eviction. And then the tenant ran to the courthouse and filed an answer, right? It tells them right on the paperwork, you got 5 days or whatever their period is. The tenant advocate groups and tenant attorneys. So seeing a new trend happen. We're seeing them wait until the 5-day notice is posted on the door from the sheriff, you know, for the lockout at the end, to recall the writ of possession, set aside the judgment, and allow them to file an answer. It's messing with us mentally because we have been prepared to say goodbye for so many decades of this is how the system is. But now that it's being manipulated in this instance, they're starting the fight at goodbye instead of at hello. So here's what I can tell you for that. Don't let it mess with you mentally, okay? You are mentally prepared, but these tenants are using a loophole to get more time in the property. Do anything about it, okay? What they're doing is legal. It shouldn't be, but it is, okay? So in the event that you're ready to lock them out and your tenant starts filing motions, you'll know what's going on. Is they're trying to recall your writ, set aside the judgment, and have the court allow them to have five days or 10 days to file an answer. We're seeing quite a bit of that going on right now. So here's my theory. If you're in the middle of a lockout or in the middle of an eviction and you're waiting for your lockout, do not get excited until the sheriff is in the property posting that red notice in the doorway, in the window, okay? That's when you can get happy. Until that happens, anything could happen. So don't set yourself up for a mental failure, okay? I'm just trying to warn you. So things we could look out for. You're correct. If you already have a stipulated agreement, they most likely cannot use that tactic. We are seeing them try to buy more time, even when they have a stipulated agreement. So we are seeing that come about now. So it is something that you could run into. Again, it's something that you have to work out with your legal counsel as to them wanting more time or things of that nature, because even though you have a stipulated agreement, that's not, they still have the opportunity to go back to court, file an ex parte hearing, file a motion. They can still do things. They can always do things, okay? It's not a home run until the sheriff is posting that red piece of paper in the window, okay? Then it's a home run. Worker entered property backyard. Hold on. Without ringing the bell. The tenant was expecting them. Dog got loose and bit the worker. Please advise medical treatment performed. There was a dog bite on the property. You have options, Arlene. You can report it to animal control, make it so they have to get rid of the dog. You got lots of options. Is the person that was injured going to be filing suit against the tenant's insurance or against the landlord? Big question there. So figure that out. Let me know. Patty, I have a no smoking policy on the property. I was told that one of the tenant's guests is smoking on the balcony. How should I address this? The tenant was not home while this person was there. 3-day curable breach of covenant with dates, times, and witnesses. If you don't have that, you don't have enough to do a notice. Tony, to me, Hang on a second, you guys, I'm reading a note. Thank you, Tony. I see that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You're my hero. All right, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about today? Anything they want to touch bases on? Need a better understanding of? Everybody dead quiet. Okay, so here's my concerns, okay? Hold on, I saw something come through. To everyone, if you have not switched to the CAA rental agreement, do it. Okay, Val. I think that we're going to see a lot of litigation being come about with the tactics that are going on. The reality is, and this is me talking, okay, is I know myself as a landlord, so I'm going to speak as my own person. If I keep getting shot down every time I try to make a living with my investment property, the chances of me keeping it for long aren't going to be high. And I would hate to see, in real talk, I would hate to see what would happen if the government took over these houses because us as landlords don't want to be in the business anymore, and what would end up happening to the I don't want to hate, but we keep getting put in these positions where we have no recourse, where we can't do anything. And in the meantime, we're bleeding money, losing our investment. It's just not okay. So I understand people that got affected by COVID, but the reality is everyone has been affected by it. I got sick. I went back to work. I mean, I just don't understand the big push for all these protections when I don't feel it's necessary. I was affected by COVID. I had to stay home from work. I mean, this is happening with everyone. And now they're saying that everybody's going to get COVID in various reasons, in various offsets. We're going to be dealing with COVID for the next 40 years. It's a cold. Okay. I don't get it. Hang on. I see a bunch of stuff going on. Squatters moved into my vacant duplex for sale 3 weeks ago. The police ejected them for me. Yes, Lee. Yes. Love you. I changed all the locks and I replaced the broken window. The neighbor who owns the duplex next door saw the rear of the unit door ajar this morning. He noticed that the window I had replaced had been rebroken. This neighbor bravely walked inside there, and there were 3 men inside and saw a gun on the kitchen table. The men threatened with him and told him to get out. How do I get the squatters out when I call a locksmith? And how do I protect the safety of the locksmith? Call the cops. Tell them that the neighbor went to your property today because nobody's supposed to be there, and there's 3 men in there with a gun. Call and report it to law enforcement. They could have just robbed a bank and they're hiding in your property. Who knows?
What city was this in? What city was this in?
San Diego.
Lee,
I'm sorry, you're frozen.
go ahead. Yes, Val, you have it correct. Don't use the word squatter, Lee, when you call law enforcement to notify them of what's going on. Tell them that there's been a break-in and there's people in your property. Squatters have rights. Don't use that word.
Well,
Yes, with a gun.
Yeah, the problem is the locksmith can't wait
So you
till
want
the arrive. So what do I do?
find a different locksmith. It's not safe for him. That's the nicest way I could say.
I know,
It's
well,
not safe for him.
last time when I called, it took them 5 hours to come out.
We'll call the cops and then wait and sit there. And then when they give you possession back and tell you, then call the locksmith. Maybe you should go sit there rather than that. And if you say gun, the cops will come quicker. Val's spot on. They will come quicker. I would contact them. They are burglars. Somebody broke into your house. They're in there and they threaten the neighbor with a gun. Call law enforcement. They should be out there quick.
Well, they actually didn't threaten the neighbor with the gun. The neighbor saw the gun there, but they were swearing at him, and you know, he speaks broken
Right,
English.
but there's
so-
3
Yeah.
broke into the house and they have a gun. Val, you be quiet. I don't want to get Lee involved in wearing or Thank you, Val. But yeah, call law enforcement, tell them exactly what happened. My neighbor saw the door ajar, somebody broke in, he went over there, found 3 men in there with a gun. They told him to get out. I need law enforcement here right away. And Val's spot on. If you mention that there was a gun and they threatened him, they'll be there quick.
But the fact that these are very likely the same people that were there before. Is
It
is
have been rejected again. And then Lee, if I could help you, go down to the local police department and put a 602 letter on file.
Oh, I've got that, Betty.
Okay, perfect. So I'd be calling the police and tell them you want the trespassers arrested. You have a 602 letter on file.
Patty, if you put in some burglary alarm, I think she can react sooner before they take too long staying there.
Yes, we're just all trying. I'll go out there with a gun and a baseball bat. Tenant didn't give me a self-certified letter this month that they wouldn't be able to pay rent again due to the COVID. Properties under LARSO, should I remind them about the self-certification for the month of January? No, you shouldn't. The one time they don't self-certify is the time you can file eviction. So you tell me if you want to remind them that they should file that paperwork or not. They should be reminded when you serve them the 3-day notice. I hope that makes sense. And I want to scream at our government. I want to yell at them at the top of my voice. All of this is their fault. See, they told tenants they didn't have to pay the rent. That's all tenants hear. They don't hear that they're responsible to pay rent again. Unfortunately, us as landlords are going to have to spend the money to evict these people. Show them it's garbage. Val, Lee, do not delay. Call 911 now. You have a break-in with 3 men and a gun. Let me say this to you, Lee. Val's familiar with the process of law when it comes to law enforcement, and I'll leave my statement at that. But yes, I would definitely be calling them right away, and chances of them showing up quickly are probably going to be much higher than the 5-hour delay that you've had in the past, stating that they're threatening someone and they have a firearm. It probably would be most beneficial to you. And then if the neighbor says, yeah, that's the guy that threatened me to get out of here, they may arrest them because you have a 602 letter on file. Who knows? There's only one way to find out. We don't want them staying there because then they establish tenancies to go through the eviction process. So I suggest and recommend that you contact law enforcement. 3 guys are in there with a gun and they threatened my neighbor, and see what comes about. Hopefully somebody goes to jail and not your neighbor.
And
might
what's legally required for them to establish tenancy?
28 days in the property or a utility put on in their name.
Or utility put on in their name?
Yeah, most utility companies won't. Val, a toothbrush doesn't establish tenancy. A lot of utility companies require a written contract in order to turn on a utility.
Not in San
Paying
Diego.
attention?
No, not in San
Oh,
Diego.
oh, that sucks. So 28 days takes it from innkeeper law to landlord tenant law, just so you know. So let me give you an example. If somebody has an Airbnb or at a hotel, motel, etc., and the occupant doesn't pay them and they've been there less than 28 days, they get to call law enforcement. Law enforcement comes there and kicks them out. It falls under innkeeper laws. After 28 days, it's landlord tenant. So the idea is to make sure that they're not establishing a residence or tenancy there, okay?
I'm
What if
confused there.
What
I
if they
don't know.
lie and tell the police they've lived here for 5 months? What if they do that?
Show me your rental contract. Who do you pay your rent to? The
I-
police.
And
the
then,
police are-
how do I keep them out? I assume it's the same people. How do I keep them
You're
out?
just gonna have to
We couldn't hear you.
put it,
You're breaking up, Patty.
you're gonna have to keep this. Can you hear me now?
I
I'm
couldn't
moving.
hear what
Can you hear me?
yeah, start over because I couldn't
You're
hear what you said.
Have to play the game. You have to go there. It's just the game we play when we have a vacant unit in these times. The other thing you can do is borrow someone's dogs. Val's right. I've loaned my pit bull to a couple landlords a couple of times to spend the night in a property. So yes, we have to become functioning on a different level. And you're right, it's a battle to keep them out. Get it rented as quickly as you can to a qualified applicant to avoid this problem. If you're stuck in the middle of the problem trying to find a qualified applicant, you have to play the game. You need to go there every 3 days to make sure no one has put themselves in there. And we're going to see a lot more of this. We're going to see a lot more problems with squatting going on and people getting in our vacant units. You guys, if you have a vacant, stay on top of it. This is just like 2007 and 2008 to me. We saw a lot of this going on, a lot, and it was a nightmare. So it is a new trend and it's going on right now. We need to be careful about it.
Okay, so you were talking about having them turn the
Quickly
utilities on in their
start, someone is, I know, Lee, have they turned any utilities on?
I don't know, because the utilities are in my name except for the gas, because we don't use the gas for the, vacant thing. So they're in my name. So so I should not turn the utilities off then, because then they could put them in their name, right?
Well, I would leave the utilities on in your name and just do something nice for that neighbor this holiday season. They're doing you a good job by really watching your property.
Yeah, I'm just curious, what do you think I should pay this
And all
neighbor?
you can do is continually chase them out. That's all you can do. Say that
So-
one more time.
So what do you think I should offer this, because he doesn't live there. He lives, probably a mile away, just to have him, what should I pay him just to look at my property? And I'm going to give him a copy of my key and everything so he can check it out. Is
If
that
he's
safe to
not-
do?
You would have to pay him whatever you two mutually agree on. I couldn't advise you there. To me, I'd give him $100 And here, Val's got an opinion. Pay him to move in just until you get a tenant.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm selling it, so I don't want a tenant because people want to buy it without a tenant.
Right on the nose, girl. I got you. I got you. You're just gonna have to keep playing this game. It's gonna cost you a lot of money, but you're gonna have to keep playing this game until you get it sold.
Thanks.
I don't have the magic unless somebody else moves in there. If you have a friend that can go stay there for a while just to help you out, do that, because if they know somebody's there, they're not going to break in and try to stay there.
Well, I'm thinking about even paying someone just to stay there, you know? Because I don't want a tenant that I have to evict for the sale, you know, so I'd prefer just to pay someone to live there.
Right. I
Like,
get
what is that called? I'd have to do a special agreement that they're not a tenant, right?
you need a house sitter.
House it, okay. That would work, right?
You need a house sitter.
Okay.
And this gentleman down the street could be a house sitter, but you need a house sitter. And the whole idea is to make sure that they don't stay.
Right.
Okay, so that's a big thing, is they don't stay. So you want to make sure that they have their own house, they have their own place to live. They, you know what I mean? That would be my concern, is that I paid somebody to house sit for me and then they wouldn't get out when I needed them to.
Right. Okay.
Can you put up bars and install security doors? G. Jones, yes, she could do that. However, it hinders your sale because then the buyer thinks that it's a bad neighborhood or something along those lines. So when you're in a sales transaction, you don't want to do any of that. I had one in a rental that was so bad, they just kept breaking in. I finally boarded up the entire property. And then it was really hard to rent. Yes, I've gone through a couple of battles with squatters and break-ins myself. It requires you to think outside the building, not outside the box. It is extremely challenging. I can call a few San Diego buddies if needed. Lee, you need help here. If you're not calling cops, I'm wondering why. She will, Val, she will. Everybody wants to help you, Lee. Hey, does anybody in here need a place to stay for a couple weeks while Lee's going through a escrow? Being funny. We all try to help each other, so that's always good. But you're gonna just have to have somebody house sit for you would probably be the best way to handle it. And if they had a dog or a pistol, it would probably benefit them better. Just saying. I would love to go do it for you. But they wouldn't like it when they popped in and found me there, trust me.
I
All
think there are people that lease dogs and then they take care of them.
Yeah,
Instead of the contract.
The problem is when you're selling a house, the last thing you want is for a dog that you're not familiar with to cause damage. So it makes it more challenging. All right, if nobody else has anything else, I will go ahead and end this for today. Thank all of you for joining, and we will see you next week. I will be back on here with an update on AB 12, and we'll talk more about what's going on in San Diego City and the county of San Diego, just so we're all on the same page. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you. I am looking for a wonderful new year, trust me. And if you guys need anything, hunt me down. You know how to find me. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. You guys have a great, great Christmas, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you, Patty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. Why am I having so much trouble closing this? There we go. I'm on the right screen now. Bye, everybody.